I'm going to show you guys how to catch these bass on the top of this type of scum that's on the water here today using a Texas rigged creature. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Woods and Waters Outdoors, and welcome back to another episode. Here's my third or fourth fish that I've gotten to bite today. It's about 3-4 days in a row I've gotten these fish to bite doing this topwater approach. Let me find a little bit better spot for them. I just had to release it, and so anyways, we're using this Texas rigged creature and watermelon, and like I said, I'm fishing conditions like this. This green scum is on the top of 2/3 of this pond, and it seems to be getting bigger by the day, but I've noticed any type of topwater, any popper or frog, seems to spook the fish. So I ended up rigging up this crawl here and dragging it across here. You can see some lines, a couple of the lanes that I've been dragging it across, and 2-3 taps and a pause, and it just seemed to blow up on it. Show you guys what I'm doing out there. I don't know if you can see it, but zooming in for you a little bit. The tip I would give is, if you see right here in this corner, right by these trees here, in between this, right in between here and right over there, that little pocket right there and that little pocket right there, where I've been casting basically in these little pockets close to the bank as I can get, and then I drag it inch by inch closer until it gets to the center. That's usually where they're hitting it, is around the center, but it's important to go right to these pockets in the brush, because a lot of times they're hitting it right when it hits the water. Whether I hit the brush or not and tap it a couple times, that's where they're hitting it, right when it hits the water. Especially when it flooded the other day. When it flooded, you can see all this brush up here. It's from when it actually did flood. The water brought the trash, all the way up to that point. But that's where I was casting, was up onto the bank here where the water was, and these fish were cleaning the bank and anything that would, any type of bugs or anything. But anyways, that's a good tip for if you do see any conditions like this, you're not getting any bites out there in the open water. If it's really sunny, today it's not very sunny, so it's not as hot as it usually would be, but they use this as cover from the sun, and they like to eat underneath it here. There's a lot of bluegill that also seem to sit underneath of this mat, and you can hear them popping from time to time, and it's even early spring right now. So these are all just really good spots to check on your lakes or ponds. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this floating mat is constantly adjusting throughout this day, and it used to be all condensed onto this side, and it's moved back over to this side, which is where it was yesterday, on this opposite side over here. And 2-3 days ago it was all the way over in this corner, which it is today, but it's dispersed all the way around this pond. But my whole point is if you see floating mat like this, wherever this mat goes, you're going to want to cast your lure to, because right as this mat transitions over to this another spot, these fish are following right underneath. So they're going to be treating this new area with less caution, and they'll more readily take your bait. I've noticed this after I've came early in the morning, and then I'll come back at like 2 whenever this mat transitions, and I tend to get the same fish or other fish to bite, but usually I say same fish because if they're in the same spot day after day, I figured it might be the same ones. There's a couple beds being made underneath of some of these at different times when the sun hits it, so I'm thinking these fish might be staging up on these spots, but that's just another tip for you guys.